What is going on, everybody? Luke here. In today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about Planetary Property Association. I have mentioned them before, but I'm going to talk about the mint that I did for these lands, or base lands, whatever you want to call it. Basically land parcels or base parcels, whatever. I just call it a land anyway. That's the closest thing. And I basically, if you jump into my profile, maybe I'll use this one. I minted 5. Here that you can see, just refresh the page so it's clean. And basically I got them by holding this, so you can see it says Surreal Estate Mint in Progress, meaning these have been minted from this. So I owned 5 of these gold passes. I still own 5, because what you can see here is if you go to it, it says 5 copies owned. And these have got a price of this 0.189, but they had a price as of yesterday, sometime yesterday, 0.3665. And because this is the only, there's only gold, silver, and bronze, this price is actually the reflection of the average price over that day. So it's close to that. So instead of there being rares, because it's not really, there's just one, that's a closer resemblance. Or it's basically closer to the real price that it would have been yesterday. It actually got to like 0.4 pretty much, just below that for like about 2 hours. But over the day, the average price would have been that. And you can see here, you know, I picked up one at 0.16, somewhere around here. I picked up a couple 0.23, 0.26, 0.28, something like that. Ignore the older slacky stuff that comes through. And so I got, I'm not sure what my average price was, to be honest, but it took me 5 seconds to find out. But this ultimately allows you to mint 3 different things. It allows you to mint the Surreal Estates, which I've just minted. And then when they have characters or avatars come out, in maybe 1 or 2 months' time, I think the whole thing's meant to happen within 3-ish months. So from now, so this is obviously the mint number 1, there's going to be 2 and 3 within about 3 months. Yeah, it might be extended, but this is an interesting one for some arbitrage as well. The reason is because you can see here just roughly that lots of volume. This whenever things come out, you know, there's always volume and it always goes up pretty much. Volume comes down and it finds a nice low around here. You don't have to be perfect again. Remember I said, you don't have to be perfect. The way I saw it is that, if you're paying 0.2, let's just say on average. If you divide that by 3, that's how much you're really getting each of the mints for, because there was 3 mints. And, calculator out, 0.2 divide by 3, you're getting it for 0.066. And for a general mint, that is pretty on the good side. It's not the cheapest I've ever seen. I've seen free mints before where you have to just pay gas. I've seen things at 0.5, 0.6, all sorts. But generally speaking, that's a good mint price. And so obviously, and I like the concepts, like they got lands and you can go down, it's got it's like a metaverse style, and then they've got, so you can see here, these are the 3. And that was actually the mint price as well. So 0.2 would have been the mint price that people paid. So in my mind, 0.2 was like, I wouldn't say it's the bottom of where the price could go, but because it actually did come lower. But like most people would have got in at this or higher. If you look at the chart, so people would have got in, obviously, it would have pumped up, people would have sold off the profit because they would have just been looking to do flips, that's their style. And the price obviously come down, and I was happy to buy on the way down, really. Obviously I wasn't going to keep buying and buying, and then eventually that 5 was plenty for me. Obviously I don't want to go crazy and buy at 40, of course it's going to be expensive, because you want to have a bit of diversity in what you're doing, because this in theory is a little bit of a longer term hold. Yes, I have got the initial mints now, but of course I'm not going to be able to utilize any of the additional mints for a couple of months. So obviously my money is tied up in something that I could use now to actually make more money, rather than holding the value in this for a couple of months until they release. So in terms of mindset, it's a good arbitrage opportunity, because people that want to mint now, that's what the reason that the price went up is because people obviously wanted to get this because they get 3 mints. and the mint for the surreal estate was this morning or last night, whatever, at midnight. And so obviously the price before mint is going up because people are trying to hold on to these because they know it's coming up. And so the price will go up because there's less people willing to give, obviously everyone has their price, so what they're willing to give it away for. But there's more people that are like, it's going to, the mint's coming up soon. I would prefer to hold it to mint rather than have like an unknown of, the next 2 mints are unknown. Like there's no date yet for them. And so obviously people then minted and the price will come down because now it's going to represent not the first mint, but just now the 2 future mints. So in theory, it'd be interesting to see where this price falls and sits. I think I saw it at 0.16 at some point this morning. And that may be the lowest it goes because now people are like, well, I've minted my 5. I've minted these 5. I'd rather just now sell out of these, get my money, get this amount. I've got 5 of these. I can wait to reveal, maybe sell some. The price of these is 0.2. And basically just see what happens. But they want to free up their cash now that they've minted because they want to now use that in other things. For me, I would get 0.17 times 5 minus, I don't know, let's just say 10%. I get 0.65 ETH. Sold these now. And that's what probably a lot of people did. They, obviously the value has to now be attributed minus these. So the value has to be adjusted to minus the 3 mints. You've taken out 1. But for me, this is a hold for now. I could have sold, but the problem is obviously a lot of people are selling, so it's going to be very hard on a listing like this where it's one after another. So if you wanted to buy this, for example, it goes in order, so the price, there's no rarity. Like obviously when you're selling sort of normal NFTs, there's normally a rarity, so you can kind of price it well and people can go, oh, I like that one. I'm willing to pay a little bit more for a better rarity, or I like the artwork. In here, it's just flat. There's no distinguishability. I don't think it's a word, but it sounds good. Between them, so the problem is it's very easy to go down in price quite quickly. Because if I want to sell all of mine now, I'm going to price, one a little bit cheaper because I want to get out, and obviously that then leads to the price going down because someone else wants to get out. So I'd rather wait for that because I don't need the cash right like today, like last night, as of the mint. And the opportunity is now to watch this, find a low. Because at some point it'd be a good, if this project as well, if the surreal estates do well, then obviously it's going to probably reflect in the next 2 mints as well. So, it's no guarantee, just trying to create some sort of probabilities. If that one does well, why wouldn't the others do well if it's the same team, it's the same prince, everything's the same, it's the same company. And so I'm just watching this, and it might be interesting to, it could never go as low as, isn't it just jumped up in the last 2 seconds? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Obviously, you can just go and, oh no, last an hour ago. Someone, bids are good on this as well. To put in a bid because it's more likely they're going to be accepted. Probably not in the last 24 hours because there was quite a lot of activity, but you can see bids. They're there. Before they were a little bit better. When the volume's lower and there's less sales per day, definitely over here that bids were more accepted because people, again, for that same reason, people will go, oh, I'm just going to undercut 0.1889, like a dollar cheaper or something, and it just cascade down that way. And so obviously people get annoyed of that and they just go and accept a bid that's really close, or if there was a bid that was around that price, they would just go and take it to get the cash now. Because most people might have some plans of what they want to invest in and that kind of thing already. So they're just looking to get out. And so what I'll do is, I was actually thinking about potentially some strategies for this. Is that if this got to about 0. Because these aren't revealed yet. So on the run up to reveal, these are slightly unusual because the reveal is 48 hours after full mint. So they actually gave 2 weeks for the free mint. So all I did is I came over to here. This morning, and I came in and I just minted my 5 through here, and it cost me $24, which is crazily cheap. I don't know exactly how it happened or why, but I minted some stuff the other day for my whitelist. It cost me $500. It's cost me, and I got 5 on this. I think maybe because there was a pass beforehand, the mint is done differently. Like, for example, they took a snapshot of this, where the other way on the whitelist was a manual upload or something. I don't know enough about smart contracts and stuff, and that is an area I will be into a little bit more as I progress through the journey and all that. But yeah, and so in terms of arbitrage, this could be an interesting one to look at, because at some point leading up to the next mint, the price will potentially go up in the same principle, because people don't want to sell, the mint's coming up. If Surreal Estates does well, they're going to be like, oh, you know what, that got up to whatever, and might be a great place to it might be in a good position to happen again with the avatars. Yeah, especially as the community grows over the next month and a half or whatever it is till the next mint. As more things get released, more like insight into what the game would be like and all that kind of thing. Once you get like stuff like staking and all that for the lands, it starts to drive more utility to the project. And so I would expect this to be, obviously, find a low at wherever. I'll look at it this week and just sort of track it, because you can see you really want to be buying along here when there's not really much interest. This was about 12 days before mint, and then you could, if you just wanted to get in and out, sold here, and you can do that again next time. Obviously, the price probably won't get up to here. It could get higher if the Surreal Estates. So many tabs open. If the Surreal Estates, get to the 0.6 or 0.7 or whatever, something stupid, which I've seen many a time before reveal. Obviously, when reveal happens, usually, because when you got something like this, the rare ones obviously are priced. They're all priced in. So if the rarest is worth 50 ETH and the cheapest is worth 0.2 ETH, and you put all of those together, all 10,000 in the collection, obviously the average price that each one's worth is going to be overall on average higher, because it's including those higher potential NFTs that could be somewhere in here hidden. Obviously, when it reveals, the worst, more common ones will get sold for way less than the floor price. So like an hour before reveal doesn't mean that is going to be the highest floor price it's ever been, but you'll see after reveal that you'll start to see a shift. It's not guaranteed, it's not going to happen on every project, but overall most projects will see the floor dip because all the commons that people have, they just want to get rid of now. And it's just something that people do because they want that rare or whatever. And a lot of people hold because they want to see if they get rares to flip for like 10 ETH or 5 ETH or 4 ETH or 3 ETH, whatever it is. And so that's why, for me, I'm like, if this floor gets up to a nice price, I may sell and buy back in some commons, because I'm looking to play the game. I'm not too worried about the rarity, because in most cases on projects, the rarity doesn't have a massive impact on anything we're doing. It's just more for like saying, look at me, I have a rare. And if I can sell, all these for 3 ETH, let's say, or 2 ETH, or whatever it ends up being, obviously I need to follow along, because when this gets to 10,000, meaning all mint, I need to now know that within 48 hours there will be a reveal. So I need to be watching. And this has only released since yesterday, not even 24 hours. And we're already up at 7,500 mints because of the people who had passes, and the gas was like super cheap. It was like $24. People are just going to mint pretty much straight away whenever they can. And the rest will go to public sale. But this was open for 2 weeks, and it's been like 14 hours. Most have been minted. And so I see within the next couple of days, this will be finished, maybe by tomorrow. There's always going to be some people that don't mint until the very last minute. It's just how it is. But yeah, and it'd be interesting to me. So I could sell these, wait for the reveal, and buy back in again. Buy back in where? When this starts to call off. Because obviously there's no implementation of a game. There's no implementation of a staking system yet. It's going to be released. But while people are sort of not that interested in it, there's no... And obviously the price will start... People go, get bored. So people get bored. Let's sell it. I can try to find something similar. Maybe it looks similar to this. So, maybe not exactly like this, but maybe... If you could see, maybe it goes up like this from where it is now on the on these. It goes up like this, 0.2. It's just, oh my god, come on, can you just give me? That's it. So we're here now. It slowly goes up and then reveals like here, and it's at 0.34 or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll sell and then I'll wait for something that looks similar to this, or I could just go, you know what, that is a half price. I'm going to go back and buy 5. I don't need to bite the floor. I want to play this game and be part of the community for the other mints. I don't want to just sell out and then find out that I waited too long and the price went way higher than what I sold, and then I've got to pay extra to get more, to get the same. Sorry, I've got to pay extra now just to get 5 back that are common or whatever. But again, it's more like probability, because you never know on reveal if it's going to go down. I just know that on most of the time, like, 8 times out of 10. So, there's going to be ones that don't, and that's going to happen. But if you just adopt that throughout and you never deviate from that strategy, on the long run, it will obviously outweigh the 2 that you miss and where it goes up. And then again, when on the lead up to the next mint, I can then jump to the passes and potentially sell if it went to something, if the product does really well. These got to some really nice value and they start to release more cool concepts and what they're going to do with the game. Maybe I sell 2. Maybe I just want to, maybe I sell 2. Maybe I only buy back in 3 or 4. It obviously depends, because they got something called like joining your lands. So you can join your bases up and make them stronger. And so obviously if they're like, it's 2 parcels, it's 2 and 2, then obviously you don't want to have 3. So there's little things like that that's why I'm sort of like, I'll have to basically follow it as it goes, as it progresses. And look for a nice plateau if it does happen. And I'm happy to buy some as we drop, because I never know where that low point will be. And if I think the low point's still to come, and then look, it pops back up. So you want to sort of be covering yourself both sides, covering yourself by buying as it goes down, because you never know where the low will be. And obviously that, down here is way cheaper than here, but it's still way cheaper than what it was. And so, I want to hold these as long as possible, but if the price is worth it and I feel like I can sell and then get back in and get commons, because usually they, again, like I said, don't have a huge impact in the game. So yeah, they might not look as cool, but ultimately they do the same and you've got cash on the side. Cool. So these are still things I'm learning and progressing through, like crunching the data in my mind and all that kind of thing, and just watching and more like watching and just looking for how the market runs on things. And so this could find its footing here, to be fair, or around 0.15. And it might be like that for a while. So it could even go down to 0.1 because people will just get bored, forget it, or they just get bored and they think, I want to sell it. I'll start waiting an extra 6 weeks. I've made some profit on these, and that's to sell the remaining ones, and I'm still up. There's lots of thought processes you need to kind of like brainstorming yourself, like just lay there and think, okay, if that scenario happens, what would I do? That scenario. If you like 400 scenarios in your head, I literally just spend all day just like coming up with random thoughts about, things like that. Just so that when I actually see something happen, I know what I'm doing. Like it's almost like I'm like predicting the future, like amid that 100 times in my head, and then I already know, and then one of them might work. Like one of them might actually happen. And I'm like, okay, I know what to do now. It's pretty much what I do with like a lot of things. But I can do that a lot while I'm just working and stuff. I don't actually have to sit there and like be chilled out in like a Zen space or whatever. I just literally have that in the background in my brain, just running while I'm doing stuff day to day, working on Amazon, whatever. And sometimes I find by speaking into these videos as well, it helps me develop. It helps me realize, oh yeah, I didn't have that thought before, I have this thought. So sometimes it might be good to document. And I found that it does help. It gives you inspirational ideas randomly, because you're speaking it rather than thinking. And when you think it, you don't articulate it the same as when you probably speak, when you're thinking yourself in your mind. And so I find it's quite nice to do that to help you. And so yeah, that's just watch what happens. I'm just tracking the floor price and stuff. But this is the project, and I just really like it. I'll show you some of the avatars. The avatars don't look amazing, but this is the band. They look cool enough. They don't have to look. If the game's going to be really cool and there's interesting things going on, there's no dates on here about when things are going to be released. So that's the only thing. So you have to jump into the Discord. You'd have to then track it. Yes. So you can see here they've got that. Milestone, obviously the dealer identities, and then you get like a garage and racing car. And actually something that I just thought of again, which is interesting, is that the bronze on this is now not worth anything. Well, it is. The bronze here could only mint the surreal estates, So that now actually takes out that out of the equation. And obviously when the avatars get mint, this has just the avatars and the land, and this has the cars or the vehicles, land and avatars. So you've got 1 mint, 2 mints, 3 mints. That's why the price sort of steps up. But as these get discarded, they're still worth something. I think you can win prizes and stuff by holding these through the Discord and stuff, but just sort of minor things. What can happen is that obviously the supply of the vehicle early, like 3 mint, is diminished, meaning that potentially the price on the third mint should be higher. Now, that in terms of the own account, there is a hell of a lot more owners of this. There is, you can see the gold 8898. And there's 10, even though it says that at 3 items, but there's 10,000 in each collection. And so so what will happen is that now there's pretty much going to be minted just by holding this, but as they go down on this one, there's going to be like 1,000 left at the end, if you see what I mean, to get to 10,000. And so there will be a little bit of a public mint, and if it's a good project, it might be very hard to get it and all that kind of thing. So this could be something that people might, if the project really does take off and everything, then people will know, people that are experienced will know that it's very difficult. 1,000 to mint sounds a lot, but I tried to mint something that had 1,000, and it was sold out in 2 seconds. And I actually click, in like 2 seconds I clicked everything, and my transaction failed because they all got taken up. And that happens when projects are looked at as being good. And obviously at the moment in the bull market, minting projects is pretty good at the moment. Like, they're getting sold out quite quickly on the good projects. If it was in the bear market, this may not be applicable, and it might be the opposite way around, where you wouldn't buy this, you would wait for the public mint, and then therefore your capital you can use your capital now all the way up to that day, instead of investing it and locking it in this for like X amount of time. So it even changes through the market dynamics. When the market dynamics change, when this changes, when it's down like this, daily volume, mints are crappy. They don't sell out as well, so you have time to mint some. It doesn't mean that the gas isn't going to be high. That's something that's happens when minting is happening. But when it's up like this, you can see my fat head in the way. Minting is pretty sick, as in you can't get any because the bots get it all. So, and that happened on this. I wanted to get one at 0.3, I believe. There was 1,000 left, and that was the one that I didn't get because it sold out in like 10 seconds. No, 4 seconds. But I actually was smart enough to pick one up at 0.55 in the event that scenario played out, and I couldn't mint because it was like crazy demand and the bots got them, which is what happened. And the floor price is zero. The floor price fluctuates between 1 ETH and this price pretty much, which is interesting. But this is something I'll hold on for a while. I do use it, and it's only going to get better and better. It's in beta, so I think of like Proper Sector Pro, Buy.pro for Amazon sellers. Like, the amount of functionality they had like a year ago is or 2 years, whenever it was in beta, is like basically non-existent, like 5% or 10% of what it is now. And so that's something that I'll hold because it's actually really cool. It's going to have like portfolio analysis, and you can actually mint directly off this. And so I might be able to actually get in this event where I went to the website and it didn't work. If I mint through this, I can prepare the contract in advance. I'm hoping. This is just like my thought process again. And I can actually maybe mint something slightly faster, 1 or 2 seconds quicker, and get those remaining NFTs rather than doing it manually by me clicking, because by clicking, it's human clicking is what causes me not to get it. Basically, you need to be able to click one thing the second that you're able to, and not go click, like 3 clicks, because that's the time that actually causes you to lose the mint, because it sells out too quick, because computers just do it automatically and there's no clicking. And so that's basically an overview. I like the project. The community in Discord is really cool as well. You can't see the vehicles, really annoying me, but yeah, like there was actually like a bit of a hack in their Discord at one point, and people got scammed out of some money, and the owners of the team gave back all the people that lost their money, about 40 ETHs worth. They basically gave and refunded us, and I was one of them, because I was really in my mind I was like, this could be a scam, but if it wasn't, it was worth me trying, because the value of what it would have been, and actually it kind of made sense to me as well, which is obviously what they wanted. But the only issue was that I couldn't get into their Discord to research a bit more because it was closed, and so I would have probably not that are fallen for it. Basically, some guy that is actually like the main guy there got his Discord hacked, so all the information that came in the announcements about this mint was from him. So it looked like it was him, and the guy's still there and he chats to everyone, so it's very difficult to know that. But yeah, that happened, and they refunded everyone, but it wasn't the end of the world. A bit annoying, but it was actually cool as well, just to get an experience of being scammed. Until you have something happen to you, thinking of I've heard someone have it happen to me is not the same as when you experience it yourself. So a lot of the time, I just like to experience things. Not if I can help it, but if it happens, it happens. I don't really care too much. And so this would be something to follow. Again, if this got to 0.5, I could consider selling all my 5 and get 2.5 ETH. Considering I only spent 1 ETH on pretty much all of them, or even less. Something like 0.22 times 5. Yeah, like 1 ETH. I can't remember exactly. 1.1. If I can make 2 to 3 ETH just on these, and I still have my 2 mints on that. I still have my 2 mints left on this. It's a win. At some point, these will probably come down, even if it's not directly after the reveal, and usually it is. But if it doesn't, that's fine. I can wait because the game and stuff hasn't been released. I've got months. We've got months for that. And so, at some point we'll have a bit of a bear market, and most of the market comes down. That's what happens. Maybe 90%. So it could be worth 1 ETH now, and then it could be worth 0.1 ETH in 3 months' time. Or not on everything, but that happened massively on the previous down market. So why not again? And so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna leave the video there. There's plenty more videos that I'll be doing, but just a nice overview on, my thought process on that, which could help you identify something in the future to then make a decision about buying, selling, and flipping. Again, you don't have to do that stuff. You can just enjoy the artwork when it comes out and hold it for the long term, of course. But I like to play the merry-go-round in my mind, just to have options, because like people say, oh yeah, I could have held that, could have gone to 1 ETH. Now this could go to 1 or 2 ETH per one in 4 months, but it's like, yeah, but I could go and find £100 million in a briefcase somewhere on the planet, because there probably is that. Like, there's game shows that just hide stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to find it. I'd rather, if I just keep getting NFTs forever, eventually I have no money, and then what? Hold everything forever and just hope that some of them go to 5 ETH and the rest of them go to 0. It's like, yeah, you could play that game. You could have minted 20 Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. Now they're worth 100 and something ETH each. 120. What was it? 105, 116 ETH each. You could have minted 20 of these, and then with loads of other crap. And now it doesn't matter that all the other crap went to 0 because you've got 500 ETH or whatever it is. But if you want to play that, that's more like what's that? Speculating. It's more of a speculative game, where you're basically playing that. Not that it's the wrong strategy, but for me, I'd rather keep it more like a business. Thinking a little bit more along the lines of business rather than retail or fun money. And it is really fun. I enjoy it, but like I try to, it'd be nice to have a mix, of course. But again, I like to try to keep it more like, if I'm making 50% ROI and doing stuff like that and compounding and stuff, just makes it a lot more easier to day to day, I find. So I'm going to leave the video there, everyone. Half an hour long, so perfect. Hope you liked it. Comments below and all that jazz. And I'll see you all on the next video. See you guys.